OK, now the 5 surviving members of the Monty Python team are to reunite for a new stage show. That's right, the Python team. One of them, Terry Jones, has been on Twitter to confirm the swirling rumours that the iconic comedy group are working together again. He's also been refreshingly honest about their motivation. He says it's all about the money. So are you delighted to learn that the team behind the parrot sketch and the funniest joke ever will be performing once again? You won't be alone if you are, because there are legions of fans out there who will talk about cheesy comestibles or quote verbatim every word of, say, the 4 Yorkshiremen sketch. The Pythons are often described as the Beatles of the comedy world. But what if, and I will just whisper this because it's considered close to heresy, you have never found Monty Python funny? Any of it? Are you left cold and bemused by the Ministry of Silly Walks and the sketch about spam? Let's talk to somebody who's in exactly that position in just a moment. But before that, we must hear from a fan in Tunbridge Wells, which is Python country, John Wood.
Hello, Jeremy.
Hi. So you think they're great?
I think they're fantastic. Major part of my life since I was 13.
And you know every sketch?
11. Oh, yes. I've seen all the TV shows, all the films, the albums as well. People don't know that the albums exist. They are gems, absolute gems.
What's the one where there's some sort of, I don't know if it's the Minehead by-election, but there's a by-election and somebody from the Silly Party has a name that is literally 5 minutes long. Which sketch is that?
You're muddling up 2 sketches there, actually. There's a German fellow with an extremely long name from Ulm, the German town in Ulm, but the other one is Hitler, who's hiding after the war by changing his name to Hilter, so no one would notice.
Yeah, OK. So the very long name in the by-election, that's a different sketch?
Yes, a different one, yes.
OK. Your favourite sketch?
I thought you might ask me that. I love the early stuff, things like trying to buy a mattress or the silly job interview or how to defend yourself against fresh fruit. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, and this is he attacks him with a stick or something, or a pointed stick.
Yeah, that's right. Eric Idle says, what about a pointed stick? He says, shut up.
What? You could tell I love them. What? Let's just think. I was going to ask you about the sort of the squawking annoys people. Oh, hello, Mrs. Such and Such, and then somebody explodes.
Yes.
Well, you don't think that's funny, do you?
Mrs. Niggerbaiter.
Yeah.
Of course, everything is funny about Monty Python. It's fantastic. But if I can make a comment about why some people don't like it, I believe it's just it's like a wavelength that people tune into, or they don't. And I'm fully tuned into that wavelength, and some people just don't get it. And it's nothing to do with education, even though it is very intellectual humour. It's nothing to do with it. Some highly intellectual people still don't find it funny. So it's just whether you like it or not. Like Marmite, really.
Can you recite all the cheese in the cheese shop sketch?
No.
You can't do Red Leicester, Emmental, all that?
Japanese stage dive. I know bits of it, but I don't pretend. I'm not one of these fans that stands and embarrasses everybody in bars by shouting sketches. No, I just love the whole aspect of it, the fact that it's educational and it makes comments about life and it makes you see the ridiculous side of life, and also it makes you happy. It makes you smile about formalities and traditions which you question. Having seen sketches, you then see something happening in real life and find it really funny because you've sort of seen another side to it. And I always look on the bright side of life, and that is their kind of purpose, really, their message to the world. What a wonderful thing to wish on people, to be happy.
OK, John, thank you. We're going to go to a skeptic now, but that's really nice to hear from you. Thanks very much indeed. Big Monty Python fan. In fact, named by the British Film Institute last year as the UK's biggest Python fan. That's John Wood. Emma Britton, BBC Somerset presenter. You hate Monty Python?
Oh, my goodness, Jeremy. Educational? I have never been educated by anything that Monty Python has done, and they certainly don't make me happy. They make me yawn.
Let me play you a few of the sketches here. We want to see.
Don't, Jeremy.
No, I'm going. Oh, let's start with the famous one. This is the dead parrot sketch.
Goodness me.
Here we go.
This parrot wouldn't boom if I put 4,000 volts through it. It's bleeding demise.
It's not. It's pining.
It's not pining. It's passed on. This parrot is no more. It has ceased to be. It's expired and gone to meet its maker. This is a late parrot. It's a stiff. Bereft of life, it rests in peace. If you hadn't nailed it to the perch, it would be pushing up the daisies. It's run down the curtain and joined the crowd invisible. This is an ex-parrot.
OK, Emma, not raising a smile at all.
Oh, I think I dropped off for a moment there, Jeremy. Goodness me, it's a dead parrot. What is funny about a dead parrot? I've been with my partner for 10 years, and it's the one thing that divides us. He adores Monty Python, but I can't bear it. Now, because of love of my John, I did watch Life of Brian with him about 3 or 4 months ago. I fell asleep at about 6 different points. He insisted I woke up, and at the end of it, when I didn't laugh, he says it's because I'm not intelligent enough to understand it. Well, I gave him the death stare, threatened him with sleeping in the garage, and said replace the word intelligent with the word silly. If you're just not silly enough to understand it.
OK, let me try this one on you. The waitress and the customer in the Greasy Spoon Cafe, they're arguing about the choice of food because everything seems to include...
Morning. Morning. What you got then?
Well, there's egg and bacon, egg, sausage and bacon, egg and spam, egg, bacon and spam, egg, bacon, sausage and spam, spam, bacon, sausage and spam, spam, egg, spam, bacon and spam, spam, egg and spam, spam, baked beans, spam and spam. Oh, lobster thermidor crevettes with Mornay sauce, garnished with truffle pate brandy and a fried egg on top and spam. Have you got anything without spam in it? Well, spam, egg, sausage and spam. There's not got much spam in it. I don't want any spam.
Emma?
Please make it stop, Jeremy. It's hurting my ears. Genuinely, I don't get it. And I mean, I'm sure everyone that knows me wouldn't consider me not to be intelligent, but I just don't get it. Jeremy, I have a theory. It's the Emperor's New Clothes theory. Do you remember that Hans Christian Andersen tale? Two weavers who promised an emperor a new suit of clothes that was invisible to those unfit for their positions, stupid, or incompetent. And the only person that would cry out and tell the emperor he was stark naked was a small child. I am that small child and telling everyone Monty Python is not funny.
Could it be that you had to be there? I noticed just looking out through the glass here, we've got 2 or 3 people, guest or two out there. The editor, who's 54, is laughing. No one else is laughing at all because they're all younger.
Well,
is
I'm
that the
40
reason?
years old, Jeremy, and I don't know, it doesn't float my boat, it really doesn't. And this whole reforming business, I mean, fair play for fessing up and saying they're doing it for the money. They're like the ABBA of the comedy world, aren't they? It was 30 years, I read, since they last worked together on Monty Python. I really don't think they'll pull it off this time round.
Here's another one. Hitler has just given a speech from a balcony in a small West Country town. He's managed to get to Somerset because he's trying to relaunch his political career after the Second World War. He's doing it under a slightly different name, and residents are asked what they think of this local politician.
Well, I don't like the sound of these here concentration bumps.
I gave him my baby to kiss, and he bit it. What the heck?
Well, I think you do a lot of good for the stock exchange.
No.
Oh yes, Britisher pals. Here's Wunderbar. Full.
I think he's great about the coons, but then I'm a bit mental.
He's got beautiful legs.
So somebody saying he thinks he's got beautiful legs. Emma?
The thing about that sketch, Jeremy, was the Somerset accent. I'll give that 8 out of 10.
Okay, one more for you. I'm obviously
Jeremy, I thought you
just
liked
the one.
me.
Just the one. A diner in a restaurant makes a mild complaint about a dirty fork, and it prompts an ever-escalating outburst from the restaurateur.
It's filthy. Gaston, find out to wash this up and give them their cards immediately. No. Better still, can't take any chances. Sack the entire washing up staff.
No, look, I don't want to make any trouble.
Oh, no, please, it's no trouble. It's quite right that you should point these kind of things out. Gaston, tell the manager what has happened immediately.
No, please, I don't want to cause any fuss.
Please, it's no fuss. We simply wish to ensure that nothing interferes with your complete enjoyment of the meal.
Oh, I'm sure it won't. It was only a dirty fork.
I know. And I'm sorry. Bitterly sorry. But I know that no apologies I can make can alter the fact that in our restaurant you have been given a dirty, filthy, smelly piece of cut.
Well, you've now convinced me, Emma, that that's not funny either.
Success! I knew my plan would work. Well, call me unintelligent, I don't know, call me whatever, unintellectual, but I'm afraid Monty Python does not float my boat. And I'll tell you what I did, Jeremy. I'm in Bristol right now, recording on location, and on my way here I called in at home and collected my John's box set of Monty Python films, and I'm contemplating accidentally dropping them over the side of the suspension bridge
in the river
on the way home.
Let us know if you do, and please take a photo for the website. Emma Britton, BBC Somerset presenter, doesn't like Monty Python. We're asking whether they were funny after all. Dave Pearson in Birkenhead, you agree?
Oh, Jeremy, it drives me nuts, it really does. I know comedy's subjective and everybody's entitled to like what they like, but it's just the intellectuals' version of the Emperor's New Clothes.
So it's not old-fashioned jokes, you mean? It's something clever.
I was in sixth form when it was at its height. And the day after, everybody would come in and just repeat the same cliche catchphrases. And it was like, pardon the pun, it was like destroying the Holy Grail to actually challenge it and say, no, I found it boring.
Let me play you something here, if I can, Dave. It's a voiceover commentary by John Cleese to a video about the importance of not being seen. So he's saying how you sort of camouflage yourself, and all you see over this is a lifeless woodland landscape.
In this picture, we cannot see Mrs. B.J. Smegma of 13, The Crescent, Belmont. Mrs. Smegma, will you stand up, please?
So she stands up, she's shot dead.
Is Mr. Nesbitt of Harlow, Newtown. Mr. Nesbitt, will you stand up, please?
And he doesn't.
Mr. Nesbitt has learned the first lesson of not being seen. Not to stand up. However, he has chosen a very obvious piece of cover.
And then he gets blown up. Dave?
No, the only good thing about that clip, it's probably one of the few that my many friends don't recite endlessly when they've had more than 2 drinks. It just drives me nuts. It's boring, it's repetitive, it's the same joke done different ways. And the crime of it all is, every time you say, I don't find that funny, you're told you're not clever enough, it's intellectual humour. It's just boring. Let's just put it in the box marked. We've had enough of that, thanks, and let's get on.
Thank you, Dave Pearson, Birkenhead. Well, they are reforming. If you are a fan, you will have a chance to see Monty Python live. That's Otis. Evelyn Mackenzie in Trowbridge. Your ex-husband used to love the Pythons.
Oh, Jeremy, hi, sweetheart.
Hello.
Listen, it was weird. My ex-husband and his best friend religiously used to watch it, and almost how they heard it, I don't know. They almost collapsed on the floor laughing. And I always felt like Margot in The Good Life saying, Jerry, I don't get it. It just wasn't, it's not funny. If they'd had that on CBeebies, I'd be writing to the Radio Times now, saying, you know, you can't bring that back, it's too stupid.
Thank you, Evelyn. Alan is in West Mill, Hertfordshire, says, when the Python series was first aired, I was living in a bedsit, and sometimes my wife-to-be would visit, and the Pythons would make me laugh so much I would sometimes fall on the floor, holding my stomach in agony. My wife-to-be couldn't find anything funny about them at all, and 45 years on, our different take on humour is still an issue.